I will. But you know what's got my attention? This round dot right here. This round carpet. And I can tell you something. It's not a Persian carpet either because I'm Persian, so from my perspective, it looks a little bit like a full stop. But you know what? That's not who I am. And it's definitely not what I do. I don't stop. I can't stop. It's not in my nature. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't do it. I'm a hands-on person. I'm a middle child. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Growing up, I was successful in my studies. I think I was successful in my sporting career. And generally speaking, I was winning in life. I was unstoppable, so I thought. And this red full stop, right here, right now, is not something that is stopping me. It's actually providing me with a platform to keep going and to continue my journey. My journey, which started out when my mother was murdered by my father in front of literally hundreds of witnesses. The articles and the news stories after the murder referred to us as victims. That's what we were known as. That's how we were labelled. We were victims of domestic violence. The word victim, it didn't sit right with me. Because I knew we weren't victims. From my perspective, we definitely weren't victims. We had survived over 2 decades of abuse in our family home. We weren't victims. We had battled our way through multiple court cases. And once those court cases were finished, once the legal proceedings were wrapped up, and this suppression order that was stopping me was removed, I could finally speak. And I did. I spoke about our experiences. I spoke about the barriers and the challenges that my family and I faced. And I spoke about the obstacles that we had ahead of us. Yet, the word victim still hang around. We still wore that label. And that's something that wasn't okay with me. I started speaking about domestic violence. Started speaking about our experiences. I wanted to make the issue of domestic violence a public conversation. So I started writing letters to the authorities, politicians, and anyone else who was in a position to help us spread this message far and wide. I started making more comments on this issue, more media interviews, and in every interview and in every letter that I wrote, I made the same statement. We saw this murder coming. My sisters and I saw my mother's murder coming, and it could have been stopped. It could have been prevented. After a number of interviews and an endless number of letters, I slowly realized I was getting obsessed with this issue. The issue of domestic violence and being labelled a victim of it. Until the local Sunday tabloid published an article with this being the front page. There was one sentence in that article that put my mind at ease. Arman's life was marred by violence, but not defined by it. Arman's life was marred by violence, but not defined by it. Prior to this article, as an anti-domestic violence campaigner, I was led to believe domestic violence defined my life. See, when you see something and hear something so much, you start to believe it, don't you? That's what it was all about. I was a domestic violence guy. That's how I was known. After that sentence, journalists started looking at things differently. Our narrative changed. The dynamic of our story changed completely. The general public stopped feeling sorry for us. And they were happy we had overcome so much. And we had championed the cause. But knowing me, I couldn't stop there. Had to keep going. Working in design and construction to make a living, speaking at events, raising awareness, raising funds to tackle domestic violence, being involved in committees and not-for-profit groups who did great work in the domestic violence sector. I was getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep every night, and I was taking on more and more every day in order to try and resolve this issue myself. At one stage, believe it or not, I actually stopped. And I asked myself one question. Why do I do what I do every day? Do you ever ask yourself that question? Why do you do what you do every day? For me, the answer was easy. The answer was actually very close to me. I do what I do because of her. And that's actually a favourite photo of mine, because that's how I will always remember my mum. Regardless of what we were going through, she was always happy and always smiling. I do what I do every day because my mother taught me my values. She's the one that taught me my ethics. Her beliefs are my beliefs. I do what I do every single day because I'm her son. Because my mother did not die in vain. And for as long as I can, I'll continue to do what I do every single day. Thank you.